Hello, and greetings, gift shop. I am more or less ready to go, so... Hello guys, Musselwhite here, also known as Crystallized Entertainment, and welcome to a video editing stream. Let's get up my application first, because I can't use my default one I have linked, because it's an older version I've been using. So let me just... No, that's Roombar, that's not what I want. KDENLive. Working, I think it is. I forget. If it's not 2022, oh yeah, that's the version I want. No way. So yeah, welcome to this video editing stream. This is something I wanted to do not last stream. The stream that I did before I went on holiday in December. This is actually what I wanted to do instead. Oh no. I don't know why the first message didn't pop up. That's something to look at. But no, I'm doing pretty good, thank you. How are you, gift shop? Where is it? Shop to upgrade. There we go. So, wait, what version am I using again? What version am I using? You should not have complained about that. The only thing I can think of is that you were not 22, alright, you were 21.08. Hold on, technical problems. Let's try this. What are you? Okay, this is the version I wanted. Got there eventually. Where is it? So yeah, we'll be continuing working on this virtual wake of it. There was something I wanted to do before I did this, before I went on holiday, but things changed, so that's just how that happened. Actually, I have no idea where I am because I've not worked on it since. So I have no idea where I am. So let's see. Setting up the SD card was supposed to be the easy part compared to the final modification. Oh yeah, bit of context. This is a video I'm editing for my secondary channel, Musselwhite, which is going to be like a retro video about a British computer called the Acorn A7000 Plus, and this is me in the quest of me trying to get it to work on a mod, to use it as like a retro gaming machine. For software in my childhood, didn't go according to plan. Then again, you probably could tell from this. So yeah, well, just for that. How are you, gift shop? I don't think I've asked you. How are you this fine Friday? With this side, you can only officially go to Whisk. Oh yeah, that's right. You are not exactly straight. Let's see how to. Seems like it. So that would probably mean I want you to go here. You can only officially go to WhiskOS 4.02 from 3.60 or 3.7x. With any higher version requiring go to WhiskOS 4.02 from okay, he's still doing it, so maybe it was the other way. No! We'll get there eventually. So it's you kind of came in like decided to join on when normally I do gaming streams, but today is actually just I want to do something different. So sorry about that. You can only officially go to WhiskOS 4.02 from 3.60. Why is it so hard to? Let's try it out. There we go. So yeah, while we wait, I do have some bitter news. One of them is it was actually informed today that a Splatoon Splatfest is out tomorrow week. So this weekend, I'm a bit caught out for that. I will be streaming it, but I was not aware of it. So I've been caught with my pants down. So this is like be an impromptu stream. You can only go for 3.7x. Why is it so hard to do that? There we go. That looks better. But yeah, that's, I'm looking for a second. Be what your favorite type of food is, which is be spice, sour, and sugar. Out of the lot, I'm going to go with Team Sugar. So tomorrow when we stream, I'll be choosing my team. Haven't practiced whatsoever. Haven't touched Splatoon since the end of November, I think. Yeah, just when season 1, the first season ended, I finished. I stopped playing it, and just because it'd been fair to say I've been playing other games like EDF 5, which actually, funny enough, I had don't know why I'm looking at it. I also done like a quick little meme edit. Yeah, your channel. That's what I wanted. Which is on my secondary channel right now. There it is. Heavily inspired by Rubik's Raptor, but that is something that so that heavily inspired by Rubik's Raptor. So I did that over like 7 hours. And also like since Christmas, I've been also playing Hard Space Shipbreaker. So with any higher version, so yeah, I'm turning this down. Version requiring 4-in-1 on RISC-OS Open. Or 3.7. Wow, I can't believe it. I think with any you're right. You actually are louder than that. Okay, so we are going to go into settings and we're going to change you down, say here. With any higher version, okay, yeah. On RISC-OS Open Limited, however, the sky's the limit. And you can I want to make so it doesn't overpower me when I'm talking. On RISC-OS Open Limited, don't know. There's no way I'm gonna be able to fracking bold that, so we just have to do that. So we just have to make do with what we got. What's this again? Oh, the readme for the soft loading thing. Booted speed, more text, more text. Okay. Let's see. There we go, floppy sounds, and we go into. Days, I have found out that the problem was human error, and I misread one of the prompts in H form. When I pressed. Okay, and that goes into there. Okay. I actually haven't forgotten half the stuff I've already done. And the A7000 Plus saw it immediately. Hey! Now we're cooking with gas. Man, the lav mic is not very good. And I already knew that. Even listened to like the audio from my Hurion unboxing that I did. Unboxing day, which I've also been editing, which is why I've not been working on this during the 1 hour a day I assign myself to do video edits. I have also noted that the lav mic's quality has a little left to be desired, but again, it's £20. What do I want, really? What do I expect for a £20 lav mic you connect to your fucking phone? You're not paying for mic quality. That much is for certain. Earlier, there is no set OS limit on these machines, providing you replace the ROM chips. Meaning you could easily get the latest set OS limit on these. There is no set OS limit on these machines, providing you replace the ROM chips. Meaning you could easily get the latest. Yeah. On RISC-OS Open. On RISC-OS Limited. RISC-OS Open Limited. Oh yeah. Be helpful if I did the other things. On RISC-OS Limited. However, we're going to do ellipses for that. Center and that. I want to be a site. One of the siders on good online. I wonder if that's why. Oh, yep, that would do it. Sophie's also doing art. Ah, Sophie's also doing art. I'm gonna boost her. If this is posted on Mastodon, I would love to booster. Where's the local timeline? Nope. She has not. Oh well, don't really need that either, so. Oh well. It's open limited, however. Probably go LTD. Yeah, I'm gonna do LTD. Can I actually fit that in a single one, or is that? Am I being too bold? Certainly not. I am not doing it. Oh, I don't like that. I like a little bit more space on either end. I'm gonna be honest with you. On risk OS open limited, however, this. Not a fan of that. Not a fan of that. Why would you give me a 21-second thing? Why would you do that to me? I don't think it is even proper YouTube because it's not certified. I think I might have been lied to. Limited. However. So haven't had this one in a while. On Whiskers open limited, however, so the sky's the limit. However, the sky's the limit. So okay, so it's actually here it starts. So Whiskers the limit. And you can easily grab the latest. However, the sky's the limit. And you can easily grab the latest. I don't know why that puts us a space there. We are gonna lock that. Fuck, this has been. Let's just put that here just so it will be easier. Just to put everything back. There we go, and then everything else doesn't get upset by it. You know, everything won't be out of sync. There we go, problem solved. Limit. And you can easily grab the sky's the limit. Let's see if I get the white skies. No, I don't think. Might be time for a Google job. The sky's the limit. Okay, so it's that one, okay. Providing that is correct, but so we'll find out later on. There we go. Sky's the limit. And you can easily grab the latest build of. Easily can grab the latest. Whiskers 5 to soft load on the A7000. It's a soft load, so probably be a screenshot job. So Whisk OS open. Surprise, surprise! I have already got that in my search history. Downloads. Where's the icon bar there? So you can find sites such as Whisk OS info. The icon bar, which is what I use for my news. I would know because you know it's right here. So, you know, I would know about, but I was like, why is that there? Downloads. Whisk PC starts A7000, that is the one I'm after. The entire screen. Because, you know, it's easier than doing that. Sophie's also doing art with, oh, first stream of 2023, this is her first stream. Oh way. Pictures, screenshots. Okay, so one of those is a sculpting thing. I'll probably end up do a sculpting stream next Friday because I want to dedicate more time to practicing that. I did some today, but I also want to practice more time. But you know, so it's, you know, just set a stage for like the eyes. The eyes are actually getting quite good. The shape I'm not happy with, but the overall technique, I think I got pretty down for using a tutorial. I'm basically just retooling myself, relearning, you know, forgetting everything I knew about sculpting, which, you know, how I used to do it, and learning how to do it a new way to get the stylized, cartoonish style that I want to do. Well, sculpting, because sculpting is going to be how I want to model my characters. Well, about 95%. I mean, obviously, chibi characters is a bit more of a special case, but 95% of the characters I want to create for projects, I want to use sculpting than traditional methods, because there's a lot more, you know, hands-on. No, hands-on. That's not the right thing, but a lot more. What's the Acorn thing? So it's a lot more creative driven. Like feels like, you know, a lot more. A bit more hands-on, I suppose. I don't know how to describe it. What's A7000? There you go. That's what I was looking for. Source. My sources that I needed a fracker.
And you can easily grab the latest build Whisker's Sky's the limit. And you can easily grab the latest build Whisker's soft load on the A7000 or Whisk PC computer.
Yeah.
Unofficially, however.
So.
And you can easily grab.
As always, we're gonna do like the zoom thing. Yeah, I mean, some of the screenshots I actually put down, you would have no idea when it's on. Let's see, when was this one? No, the 10th of December is when I did screenshots regarding to, you know, Whisker's Limited stuff. Oh, that's now it's 3QD Limited, because Whisker's Limited doesn't exist anymore. It's been bought out by 3QD, which, you know, yeah, we're just like, in a way, Whisker's Limited, like 4.39, is superior than Whisker's 5. But you only can get Whisker's 5 from modern ARM machines like the Pi, the Beagle board, the MX6 board, I forget who makes that, the Pinebook, or Pinebuck, I don't know, depends who you're asking. Why would you... let's go like that, and then do. Let's see, 135 too much.
And you can easily grab the latest build of
I don't like that speed. We don't like that speed. So let's try this.
The limit. And you can easily grab the latest build of Whisker's 5 soft load on the A7000 or Whisk PC
computer. And we'll just fade up. Cancel. Cancel. Fracking echo activated.
Soft load on the A7000 or Whisk PC computer. Unofficially, however.
See, now this is where Switch could do.
PC computer. Unofficially, however.
Like, you know. As it stands, this is probably where, you know, a space could exist. There you go. So let's see.
Whisk PC computer. Unofficially, however, there is no set limit.
Maybe one more. Oh, no, I'd rather have it a little bit more granular than that. Thank you.
Computer. Unofficially, Whisk PC computer. Unofficially, however, there is no set limit. And the username survived to soft load on the A7000 or Whisk PC computer. Unofficially, however.
Why was this? Allow it.
Unofficially, however, there is 10,000 or Whisk PC computer.
However, I think the volume could be lower. There you go.
PC computer. Unofficially, to soft load on the
A7000 and Whisk PC computer. Unofficially, however, no set limit.
Unofficially, or Whisk PC computer. Unofficially, however, there is no set limit. 7,000 or Whisk PC computer. Unofficially.
Sure. And surprisingly, that needs to go up there because of how it works. It's time for
An X, with any higher version requiring 4 and 1. On WhiskOS Open Limited, however, the sky's the limit, and you can easily grab the latest build of WhiskOS 5.
I love the fact that when this video's come out, the latest version is not going to be 5.28. It's going to be 5.30. That's going to be the latest and greatest build, at least in the stable branch. By the time it's going to get me to finish editing this video, it's going to be that, not 5.28, which is what it is right now as I'm editing this. So that's going to be fun. Why would it do it? Why would it do me dirty like that? Okay, so that would go under misc stuff, miscellaneous. Yes. Yeah, and there's like the micro, which is over there, which is somehow slower despite having the same processor and slightly faster memory modules. Also, technically got USB, but there's no USB drivers, and because micro just don't neglected to do that. I think WhiskStation has a version offering the R7500. Also, no USB drivers, because Syntec wouldn't do that for whatever stupid reason. And I don't think either particularly pushed it that hard. The INX is like the only one that had working USB, and which even got updated to USB 2, speeds at one point. Like the hardware was there to begin with, it just was the drivers to 1.1. So it's like was not that great. Of course, now we're waiting for USB 3 drivers to be implemented, and we hold on to USB 4. You see the problem? We're up to USB 4 already. I mean, you're still waiting for USB 3 drivers for WhiskOS.
Unofficially, 7000 or Whisk PC computer. Unofficially, however.
Yeah, so unofficially, however. So I'll go here. Here, technically.
Unofficially, however, there is no set limit. However.
Unofficially, however. So we'll probably do it like this. So, there we go. Unofficially, however. There.
However, there is no set limit. However, there is no.
However, there is no set limit. So let's put it in there. Put that here.
There is
No set limit. So that can be put here. Oh wait. There is no set limit. No, I don't need to cover that because it's already there. And then
a user named Sarbard over on the
Sarbard. It's such a odd name.
However, there is no set limit. And a user named Sarbard over on the Stardart 4.
Sarbard. A username Sarbard.
Username Sarbard.
Yeah, okay. So.
And a user named.
And a user named Sarbard. User named Sarbard. Let's make sure that's in center. Is it in center? Apparently it is. Understandable. Have a nice day.
Over on the Stardart forums, created a way to Stardart forums.
Over on Star forms. Created a way. So, but that's a over on the Stardart forms. Doesn't feel like that's center, and it isn't. Either so slightly, but it was not center.
Over on the Stardart forums, created a way to softload.
Created a way to softload any version. I'm guessing it was.
Way to softload any version onto these.
Yes. onto these machines. Okay.
The way to soft load any. The way to soft load.
Soft load and probably have like a big any sort of thing. That's what I am thinking.
Created a way to soft.
Created a way to soft load, because I have a feeling that won't be here. Oh no, it actually fits. Okay. Soft load any, which is going to be a big any. So any, hopefully that says any, not ant. Yeah, what was it, like something network suite? Nope, that is fine.
Soft load any version.
Load any version. Say put that there. Position and zoom. Have that zoom in. So good enough for me. Maybe not. I want more. More. Yes.
Any version onto
Any version.
version onto these machines. Within
Onto these machines. Onto these machines. Any version, I forgot. Any onto these machines. Version. Any version onto these machines. Within reason, of course. Because you can't really soft load which goes 3.5 for instance. Yeah, you know, cannot soft load which goes 3.5 on these machines because the lowest you can go is 3.71 because otherwise it just doesn't support the hardware. So the lowest is literally 3.71. Trying to go higher and you're gonna have a bad time. You're gonna have a very, very bad time if you try to go any lower than that on, you know, than what machine you're trying to soft load supports.
any version onto these machines.
Within reason, of course.
Within reason, of course. For me,
Of course, which will be in brackets. As like a caveat sort of thing. Within reason, of course. Then be. I think I forgot something. Something somewhat important. Yeah, I did. Oh way. For me, and to be like, Google.
is 4.3. That is for me.
That is. Me will be right there. That will be version 4.39.
That is 4.39. As that.
Which is basically, well, I'm saying, put the splash screen for 4.39 here.
There is no set OS limit on these machines, providing you replace the ROMs.
Yeah. So you know, have that kind of come full circle. It's almost like it's an intentional choice on my part, almost. Jeez. This is also the same vector of the Panasonic SM50 I used in my ARM Color Magic video, because you know, it's there. It's not whatnot. There's no point me not using it for these type of videos. That's why I designed it, to use it for these type of videos. So you know, it's there. For me, put that there. That is 4.39.
Me, that is 4.
That for me, that is 4.39. I keep forgetting, fracking that my numpad's tied to scene stuff. 4.39.
That is 4.39 as that.
As that has the best compatibility to new feature ratio, was the other one?
As that was on my RISC PC as a kid.
As that was on my RISC PC as a kid, because I used to have a RISC PC. Not anymore due to unforeseen reasons, unforeseen consequences. But hey, it's just one of those things. One of those things that makes me just makes me sad. But you know, I am going to cry over spilt milk there, but there's not much I can do about it. So, just honestly, oh yeah, the other bit of news that reminds me for whatever reason. Oh boy, I think the contrast could be better. Just put that there. How's that? I mean, compared to like when if I don't have this color grading, I think it was I didn't have literally like what on Wednesday stream when I did Pummel Party. You can see it's really bad because my stupid graphics tablet is blocking most of the light. This it's definitely better. But you can definitely tell it's not. Oh, I haven't had this one for a while. But you can definitely tell that it's not very well contrast, is it? Hue shift, I don't know. Oh, what's opacity? Why is that an option? Why is that an option in color grading for me to do that? Hue shift, so 0, so what? We really could have that as like a wave if we really want to. Don't know what's, not entirely sure what the point of that this is. I'll be real with you. We can go very old timey if we want. Again, not entirely sure what the point of it is, but we can do it. It's not great, but it's definitely needs more work. But hey, oh, there we go. Anyway, what was I doing again? As that was on my RISC PC as a kid. As that was on my RISC PC as a kid. And it offers, and it offered, or offers, I forget, was it in past or present tense?
And it offers the best new features to
it was in present tense.
To backwards compatibility ratio.
So, and it offers,
and it offers the best new,
offers the best, so say there. And it offers the best. It offers the best. I think it's, if I could have it running like a Raspberry Pi, you know, natively, you know, 4.39 natively with backwards compatibility to 26-bit applications was by the Pi's design, it's not possible. But I could do that and also have like all like the nice bells and whistles 4.39 has on a Pi. I would be a happy boy, because again 5 can have, it's, you know, it's superior to others, like file core supports up to 2 terabytes, and along some other nice tasty pieces, as well as a new networking stack that's being developed, as well as a new pin board. But in other ways, which was limited offerings, just was the superior. Honestly, and 5 just pales in comparison.
Offers the best new features. Offers the best new features.
New features. New features to compatibility ratio. So basically, it's like meant to be like performance per watt sort of thing, like you see like on the Intel Max. Let's see if we can find that. I don't have it laid out that way. Intel Mac performance per watt. Wow. Wow, you really just blasting ARM like that? What was it? MacBook Pro announcement. That's probably about 3 different ones now.
Let's go to a big topic. The Mac mid-90s and the Power PC decade. Was a and for this going, but these and we haven't been able to deliver in front of you, and I promised you this. And we haven't been able to deliver that to you yet.
Seems like it was a very.
I think a lot of you
was like a very pioneering man. Some of his ideas kind of, in other ways, kind of sucks in terms of a workplace environment. But there you go.
Would like a G5 in your PowerBook, and we haven't been able to deliver that to you yet. But these we're gonna is power out how much performance.
Where was price to performance ratio? Oh, what do you mean? Oh, fuck. Oh, you're not actually shuffled. When I say I went shuffle, I mean what I say. Okay, so it's actually done it like that. So I've done that one. See if that doesn't get it crashes. To compatibility. Price to. So, okay, so that's technically it.
It offers the best new features to back.
I can't believe that was not it. I can say so.
The best new features to backwards compatibility ratio.
So with the it's supposed to be a little bit more vague, which I'm going to do like a zoom thing.
Ratio. With the readme being more than vague.
What's both person was saying? This is not a jab at the guy. He's just never soft loaded before, so I had no idea what I was doing. Because I actually had no idea because I never soft loaded WhiskerOS before. If I even think of trying to do that in what was it? In like trying to do that in with the Pi 2 project eventually.
With the readme being more than
just it's not filling me with joy with the process. It's like, oh, I'm gonna have to do a very similar thing with the Pi 2, and I don't know how to do it because I'm doing it slightly differently than just downloading a stupid Pi image because I'm stupid like that. So I'm gonna quickly see how this is going. It's not going anywhere. Look at that. So it's not like I'm surprised. I'm not. Really? In the grand scheme of things, I am really not surprised. A jab. Meant to be a jab. Yeah. Just the fact I never soft loaded before, so I had no idea what I was doing. It just kind of assumes that you soft loaded before, and for me that is just simply not the case. Quite the contrary, actually. Uploaded before, so I had no idea what else. We're gonna have to see more. Then let's kind of go down here. We should be golden. Anyway, so yeah, that's be that. Gonna copy that and paste that. Just literally just.
The weed me being more than they.
That's kind of funny, but it's not what I want. I like that though, but.
With the weed me being more than they, trying to figure out what to do, especially for someone who never uploaded an OS onto an Acorn before, was more than a trial and error game. More than they. The weed me being more than they, trying to figure out what to do, especially for someone who never uploaded an OS onto an Acorn before, was more. Someone who never uploaded an OS onto an Acorn before was more than a trial and error game. Technically, this neat utility is supposed to work with 2 drives, but it can be modified to work with only 1. Getting this to work on boot up proved to be really difficult, as it is clear this is very much a patchwork solution.
Jury-rigged probably would be a better word. Not patchwork, but it's very jury-rigged. You can tell it's definitely not designed for what I was trying to shoehorn onto it.
The problem was once again human error, with the required string to get the soft load to work being commented out by default. On commenting the string and restarting the Acorn, finally got 4.39 to fire automatically as if it was running in WAR.
Also ignoring the fact that I also had to swap the RAM out to 40 megabytes. No, 30, swap out to a 32 megabyte module because apparently 8 megabytes wasn't enough, despite the RAM is being 8 megabytes total. What is like? What do you want from me? Let's say I had like 16 megabytes, and that still wasn't enough. Oh, is the Ink Demon gonna come out? Ballad is distressed. Literally me in a nutshell. Literally everyone on my ideas in a nutshell. I feel like YouTube's calling me out here, but hey, oh, there we go.
Out by default.
So let's watch it from from here.
Setting up the SD card was supposed to be the easy part compared to the final modification I wanted to do. As I alluded to earlier, there is no set OS limit on these machines providing you replace the ROM chips, meaning you could easily get the latest and greatest for this computer. Soft loading, however, is a slightly different story. Now, soft loading is basically meaning installing a new operating system through software, including loading the required ROM.
Yeah, so basically how it works.
And there is 2 roads you can go with this. On the WhiskOS Limited side, you can only officially go to WhiskOS 4.02 from 3.60 or 3.0.
We should have just done that because it wasn't that expensive. I explicitly wanted 4.3. Now, if I went to the official channels, we got 4.02. The amount of headache that would have saved me cannot be understated. Oh man, it was a pain trying to get this stupid thing to work. Let's just do that.
Setting up the SD card was supposed to be the easy part compared to the final modification I wanted to do. As I alluded to earlier, there is no set OS limit on these machines providing you replace the ROM chips, meaning you could easily get the latest and greatest for this computer. Soft loading, however, is a slightly different story. Now, soft loading is basically meaning installing a new operating system through software, including loading the required ROM into the RAM first. And there is 2 roads you can go with this. On the WhiskOS Limited side, you can only officially go to WhiskOS 4.02 from 3.60 or 3.7x, with any higher version requiring 4 and 1. On WhiskOS Open Limited, however, the sky's the limit, and you can easily grab the latest build of WhiskOS 5 to softload on the A7000 or Whisk PC computer. Unofficially, however, there is no set limit, and a user named Sarbard over on the Stardart forums created a way to softload any version onto these machines, within reason of course. For me, that is 4.39, as that was on my Whisk PC as a kid, and it offers the best new features to backwards compatibility ratio. With the readme being more than they, trying to figure out what to do, especially for someone who never uploaded an OS onto an Acorn before, was more than a trial and error game. Technically, this neat utility is supposed to work with 2 drives, but it can be modified to work with only 1. Getting this to work on boot up proved to be really difficult, as it is clear this is very much a patchwork solution. The problem was once again human error, with the required string to get the soft load to work being commented out by default. On commenting the string and restarting the Acorn finally got 4.39 to fire up automatically as if it was running in WOM. It's not as fast due to the extra step needed on boot up, but it works and I didn't need to swap out the WOMs, making it easily revertible. So that's a win.
Okay, so yeah. It's decent, it's tolerable, it's usable. All the adjectives. So from there, gee, why are you freaking out? Like for me, on my end, it was like freaking out a little bit here. Oh, yep, it's doing it. The hell am I at? That's odd. Why are you doing that, OBS? This is my first question. Just why?
Any version of
So just put it like here.
so we created a way to soft load any version onto these machines. So the way to soft load any version onto these machines. Within any version onto these soft load any version onto these.
That does not. No. So let's put this back then to one frame.
Created a way to soft load any version onto these machines. Within reason, of course. For me, that is 4.39. Any version onto these machines. Within reason, of course. For me, that is 4.39, as that was on my RISC PC as a kid, and it offers the best new features to backwards compatibility ratio. With the README being more than vague, trying to figure out what to do, especially for someone who never soft loaded an OS onto an Acorn before.
Suppose don't forget. Oh yeah, that's right. It's in the sequence here. So it's what software upgrade, original, base 2, 3, 4. I actually don't know where it is. Okay, 5. And we can also delete that. Because we don't need that. Why are you here? Floppy read sound here. I mean, technically there is. Yep, there we go.
I love that short burst the floppy drive does.
Yeah, that's fine.
Compared to the long one PCs of the era did.
Stop!
Unfortunately,
I'm clicking on you for a reason. It's not for my benefit.
on commenting the string and restarting the Acorn.
So yeah, footage split up there on 42%. So 342%. Then we're also going to do something. Then we give you one of those and one of these. Probably with a bit of alpha. Let's go with 130. Put that one there. There we go.
On commenting the string and restarting the Acorn finally got 4.39 to fire up automatically as if it was running in WOM. It's not as fast due to the extra step needed on boot up, but it works and it's string and restarting the Acorn finally got.
I'll see. Maybe, mayhaps. Where is it? Increase the fade in that one slightly. That might be beneficial.
With the readme being more than that.
Yeah, looks good.
It's not as fast due to the extra step needed on boot up, but it works and I didn't need to swap out the WOMs, making it easily revertible. So that's a win.
Yeah, so that's a win. Yeah, and if it wasn't for the fact of this next problem I'm going to talk about, for intents and purposes, I would be done. More or less, I would be like, you know, I've set up,
Housekeeping as a
I've set up, get, you know, customization, copy files over, and yeah, onto testing. Unfortunately, as you probably can tell, in fact I showed earlier, that is not exactly what's happened. Things did not go according to plan.
I do have a similar spec clone, a micro digital Micro, which does have USB motherboard,
Yeah.
but the Micro never received drivers for USB, so they're a diadem purely for show. But the show must go on. Never received drivers for USB. So they're a diadem purely for show. But the show must go on.
Yeah, technically this microdistal runs specific version of 4.02, which is 4.03, which is specific version of 02. With, in theory, everything it needs in software for it to work is not exactly a Acorn motherboard, but in practice, it's always something slightly different.
That's a win.
So that's a win.
You'd think so that's a win. You'd think it would be smooth sailing.
Time for me just to move that because again I'm not entirely happy with that spacing.
So win. You'd think it would be smooth sailing from here. So win. You'd think it would be smooth reversible. So that's a win. You'd think it would be.
I need something a little bit more spacing on it. So let's try this.
So that's a win. You'd think it would be smooth sailing from here. So that's a win. You'd think it would.
There we go. You see how much, but it's just trying to get the timings right. What's this red one? Yeah, know it about 50 speed up. Yeah.
But no matter what I did, I got a funny image that is considerably darker than it should be. This makes me think the video chip inside the Acorn output some, but it did output all the resolution.
In fact, apparently it is slightly different because apparently the Beagle board also has the same sort of problem when it's HDMI because it doesn't output kind of the standard signal. It kind of outputs like the old style of how like the modes, mode 8, mode 12, mode 16 sort of thing, which dictates resolution, colors, frame rate, you know, refresh rate sort of thing. And it's like based on timings rather than how HDMI and modern, I think even older VGAs might do things. So it's just like probably just confuses the SCART box because it's not exactly standard. Just something like that, I imagine, is what it has done me in. Because the cable itself that I was using originally, not like this, but the VGA, you know, not this box, but the VGA, the VGA to HDMI cable I was using only has a hard limit of 480p, which is regrettable when games run at 256p. That is indeed most regrettable, which is mode 8, I think it is. But either way, point stands that it is kind of regrettable that it's done me a bit dirty like that.
You'd think it would be smooth sailing from here.
You
think it would be smooth sailing from here.
Yeah, you with quite, yeah, again, ellipses. So you'd think you would, so you know, you'd think it would be smooth sailing from here. Do. There we go. Saving that ahead of time before I open it again. Keep forgetting that's bound to something.
Yeah. Just needing some housekeeping. You'd think it would be smooth sailing from here. Just needing some housekeeping and some personalization things, and I'm up to the races laughing. However, there was.
I'm gonna do like that. However, is gonna like move downwards, sort of thing, like I would normally do for like the Chill Peeps play things, as well as like Callie's videos. Oh yeah, the news. I said I had another bit of news, but when I talk about the Risk PC, I never elaborated. I never expanded on that. I'm dying. That's not news, but AMD has come to us by the new Radeon cards based on RDNA 3D. The RX 7900 XT and 7900 XTX. They're having some overheating problems. Like they're running really toasty, which is obviously the understatement of the week. But you know, suffice to say, shouldn't be doing it. And it has been doing the rounds on YouTube because that is pretty bad, especially for architecture as highly anticipated as RDNA 3, since Nvidia has been running away with pricing to be very unagreeable. So even though Radeon is not much cheaper these days, it's still cheaper-ish. But the point being is, RDNA 3 had caught up quite well to Nvidia's new, what is it, Empire? No wait, that's the 30 series. What the fuck is the 40 series architecture? Can't remember. The point being is, it's meant to be, you know, it's supposed to, the 7900 actually is caught up to like the 4080 for like non-RTX games, which is fine by me. Not really good when the card just kind of cooks itself alive, and basically you could probably have a fry up by the amount of heat it's outputting. I don't think it's supposed to come from here, but I don't know. But AMD has acknowledged it. I don't really want that there. But you know, AMD has acknowledged the problem, which is the first step. Don't know what they're doing about it because I've not looked much into it. I just know it's a thing. And I also know that it is not a good image for AMD, considering AMD's not known for their graphics drivers to begin with, and has some bugs because of the varying issues because of their underdeveloped graphics drivers. So the fact that cards are overheating, which I imagine is like a firmware issue, possibly, maybe even a problem with the coolers. Not doing AMD much favors, trying to convince the kids that they're the new cool thing around town instead of Nvidia. So, however, things look bad for old AMD. Which just kind of sucks that this has happened, but hey, oh. Oh, beg your pardon. It's already 2100. How could this happen? It's already 2100 hours. Like, has this happened already? However, so I'm going to do it like that.
However,
Let's go like this, so we have a little bit space, to play with, so let's do it like that.
However, there was one laughing. However, there was one problem. No amount, and I'm up to the races laughing. However, there was one.
There was one problem.
There was one problem. No amount of troubleshooting or brute.
There was one problem. Oh, I haven't heard this one in a while. Handprints, okay. Okay, it's not like one I've heard in a while, so that's pretty cool.
There was one problem, no amount of troubleshooting or
trouble. No, I say it's
there was one problem, no
problem. One problem.
no amount of troubleshooting.
There was one problem. There was one problem. Was one problem.
No amount of troubleshooting.
No amount of
there was
one problem. No amount of troubleshooting or brute forcing could fix. No amount of troubleshooting. So just put that like that. I don't mean to do that. Don't know that's even an option for text, but hey ho, it is.
Or brute forcing would fix.
And
Fix. And that
yeah,
the VGA to HDMI adapter I bought turns out to have a hard floor of 480p. And if the video output is 480p. And
yeah. So and when the thing goes up to 56p for games, you can imagine how that's a problem. When it's the hard limit, you know, the hard floor is literally 480p, just about double the resolution. Just why? There's no real reason to do that. Again, for most people, it's probably fine for what they intended to use it for. What I wanted to use it for, it's not, because otherwise it was a very good solution that did everything I wanted. It was literally, that last product was like kind of literally tripped me over. And I can't believe it done it, actually. It betrayed me. Or brute forcing could fix, so could fix, which would be that. So that would be like here, this sort of thing. So that no could fix. Could fix. Can't decide if I wanted that to be ellipses or not. I'm going to agree with you.
Forcing would fix. Thing would fix.
Would fix, not could. I'll just move that down here. Don't mind me. Gonna fix that typo pretty quickly.
And that is video output.
And that is video output. So I'll just put that here.
That is video output.
Video output. Yep.
Fix. And that is video output.
And that is video output. Yep. Seems good to me.
And that is video output.
There we go. And then we do I don't know why there's not a text thing there, but you know, sort down. No. But I'm end up moving that over there.
But the show must go on.
Yep. The show must go on. I don't even have that TV anymore. That Technical TV, that literally you see over here, was over there where the mini fridge is. I sold it, finally got that out of the house, which is nice, really nice. But yeah, that's where it used to be. Don't have it anymore. But that is, so I like that's basically the last video that TV has been in, because it has featured on varying things, even indirectly, because this is typically the monitor I've been using for like troubleshooting or like, you know, computer based stuff. is also what I used when New Octane. I was like doing like a stress test on to make sure it wouldn't die. Not like it did me any good because it died in August anyway, so it's not like that stress test did me any good in the long run.
Or brute forcing would fit.
Because not August 2022, August 2021, when literally I think what 6 months after I built New Octane, which was not exactly good in terms of reliability rating. It's made me a bit wary about building my workstations in the future. That needs a little bit more greater reliability than that. In fact, the Hackaday, I believe, had a very similar problem with the power supply just blew, except I think it blew within 4 weeks. 3 weeks. When I tried to play Fortress Craft Evolved on it, and it ended up also damaging the motherboard because it was not a very well-known brand power supply. That was in my old Hasbro machine before then. But apparently something just caused a trip, damaged my motherboard, and it hadn't been acting right since. But working white enough where I was able to use it for 7 years before I built Octane, and then New Octane. Octane only lasted 3 weeks, I think it was. Didn't last that long because of a RAM issue. But yeah, it's just kind of made me more aware of building my own workstations. I like building my own workstations, but I am starting to value a little bit more on overall reliability than fun, because it's all fun and games until the machine starts dying every so often. Then it's not so much fun trying to get the part in a timely manner.
And that is video output. The VGA to HDMI.
I mean, yeah, put it here. Let's move that over here. I'll say that pretty much, yeah, pretty much there.
The problem was once again human error, with the required string to get the soft load to work being commented out by default. On commenting the string and resigning the Acorn,
I always like when I speed up when it starts to lag.
As if it was running in ROM.
That's cool, that's handy.
Due to the extra step needed on boot up, but it works and I didn't need to swap out the ROMs, making it easily revertible. So that's a win.
Yeah.
You'd think it would be smooth sailing from here. Just needed some housekeeping and some personalization things, and I'm up to the races laughing. However, there was one problem. No amount of trouble.
Yep. I don't know why discs is just like enabled by default. It just is, so it's just So software base edit 6. Almost got 2.6 megabytes in total of backups, which is very small in terms of my backups being.
So it honestly sucks. I couldn't fix the. So it honestly sucks.
So it honestly sucks.
So it honestly sucks.
Oh yeah, it's not like mine because it has to be here. No, it's here. Oh, fuck, I am losing where I need to be. So basically, that. So I know set up footage, which I've done, so that can also take a hike. So basically, it's just like 4 more text parts. Then the split up footage thing here. And then yeah, I'll be done more or less, unless I can move on to the next portion, which will be the actual benchmark thing. So yeah, fun times. Just gonna do that. Also gonna do that, which might end up doing also on the stream. To fire up my Steam Deck, which I've actually just recently booted into desktop mode, so it's not very operational yet in desktop mode because I had it in console mode while I was playing on my TV, which was Pummel Party, would you believe? The boss is handing my butt to me again. But anyway, I'm digressing.
This makes me think the video chip inside the Acorn.
I keep doing it, I think it's this one. It's really just this one.
And if the video outputs anything.
And if the
And if the video outputs anything lower than that,
and if the video outputs, and if the video outputs, oh dang it, Tom. That was highly unanticipated. I had not foreseen this, which also might make plans tomorrow more complicated. Maybe it depends if he goes downstairs when I'm doing the pizza basis, because I haven't done that today and I can normally do that, but because we didn't have ingredients in until like very late and just haven't had time to do it, so that's tomorrow's thing. Probably before the Splatoon stream. It's just bad timing all around.
And if the video outputs anything lower,
outputs. So put that here.
Anything lower than that. Anything lower than that.
Anything lower than that. So put that here. Lower than that. Then you just flat out a lot. Yes, Neil, I said that.
You might be seeing the problem I am implying already.
Yes.
But some
Indeed
games
I
in
am.
my library, like Pac-Mania for instance, outputs at almost half that minimum resolution for this case.
Yeah, I say almost half because it's actually 256 instead of 240. So it's virtually like 240p, half. You know, virtually half. Let me just check this. Also, let's get rid of this notification. That's annoying me. Okay, let's just channel markers red. Just want to quickly check stuff on the YouTubes. So just do that. You say I'm getting 22 views here. However, average view duration, that's the entire video. What do you want from me when the entire average view duration is the length of the entire video? We're saying like 22 on like the home of the dashboard, but it's like 19 when you're looking at channel content. I just really wanted to see if it had any likes or not. Honestly, it doesn't. Anyway, back to the point.
The video outputs anything lower than that. The video outputs
anything lower than that. Anything would have I type correctly. Lower than that. I keep thinking he's going to enter my room, which would be regrettable. But it's just like it sounds very comes very close. It's like, oh, is he going to enter my room? And am I going to go BRB because of it?
480p. And if the video outputs anything lower than that,
then you're flat out of luck. So we'll just put that there. You're flat out of luck. Then you're not the other. You are flat out of luck. Exclamation mark. So there we go.
If the video outputs anything lower than that, then you're just flat out of luck. Anything lower than that, then you're just flat out.
Okay, I missed a word. Oh, English is hard. Thanks, that's exactly what I wanted to do. Idiot. You're just. So let's do this. First time in a while I had to go into a second lane of that.
Then you're just flat out of luck. You might be seeing the problem.
Yeah, you might already be seeing the problem.
You might be seeing the problem I am implying already.
So you might be seeing the problem that I'm implying already. You need to unsubscribe from my Christmas mods on Left 4 Dead 2. I don't know why. It's like, why that's reminding me of that, but you know, it has. You might already see the problem I'm... No, you might see the problem. It's like already is at the end. See the problem. Why would you do that? There we go. I'm implying already. I don't know if that's the right, you know, punctuation for it, but it's what I'm going with for now. Wow, it's another 2 minutes gone.
Like Pac-Mania, for instance.
But some games, like...
But some games in my library.
Yeah, so it's up there, like Pac-Mania, for instance. So, some games in my library. Let's consult Steam. How to spell library? Let's see, maybe library UK spelling. Nope, it is literally that. Apparently, okay. So, some games in my library, like Pac-Mania, for instance. There you go. Thank you, Steam. Thank you very kindly.
Like Pac-Mania, for instance.
Outputs are almost half that resolution. Outputs at not like Pac-Mania, for instance. There you go. Outputs
at almost half that minimum resolution for this.
Minimum resolution.
For this cable.
Minimum. Outputs at almost half the minimum resolution for that. Thought it would look a little bit more crowded than that. I'll be honest. When I saw it in the mind's eye, not that I'm complaining terribly.
This cable, the resolution for this cable.
For this cable, which would end here. So for this cable, full stop. Oh, that's not what I wanted. That's what I wanted. There we go.
Half that minimum Pac-Mania, for instance, outputs at almost half that minimum resolution for this cable. Most games I own is at a.
Yeah, most games I own is at a funny 320 by 256 with was it 256 colors. Because I believe that is mode 8. On the Acorns, I would have to check. Just somewhat of an inconvenience. I'll be honest with you.
Resolution for this cable. Most games I.
Most games I own, like if I was just doing desktop stuff like Web Spider, Dazzle, DrawWorks, you know, that sort of thing, it wouldn't be so much of a problem. But since I'm not doing that, it is a problem.
Most games I own is at a funny 256p. Games I own is at a games I own.
Yes, that's I own. Most games I own. Most games I own. In fact, I acquired some more since I did this video. Like not Drifter, but that's probably running at more standard resolution when considering when it came out. But that washing machine simulator thing, for instance, probably runs at that same resolution because the year it was released.
It's at a funny 256p. Most games I own is at a funny 256p. So that sucks. After
I suppose I have that as like a zoom out sort of thing, kind of gets smaller. So that sucks sort of thing. That gap there is very much intentional for added effect, emphasis even. Most games I own, if you could just stay on, is at a funny 256p. Except it's not the ha funny. You won't be getting the ha-has from it, let's put it like that.
sucks.
Yeah, so that sucks. For that, so that's why you just snap on to the end of the whatever this thing's called, I forget, but I know the tracker or something like that. Because I know you would, and I hope you don't. So that sucks. So do.
So that sucks. After finding that sucks. After 6p. So that sucks.
Maybe where was I doing?
So that sucks. After own is at a funny 256p. So that sucks.
So we'll probably fade out like that.
Most games I own is at a funny 256p. So that sucks. After
probably end up disabling the fade in sort of thing.
funny 256p. Most games I own is at a funny 256p. So that sucks. After finding
It's not white.
After finding the cable wasn't fit for purpose.
After finding the cable was not fit. After finding this cable. After finding this cable.
After finding the cable wasn't fit for purpose.
Oh, it's not this cable, it's the cable, so again, save. Because I know if I try to edit the same text twice times, in certain scenarios, it does crash. Even on this version. I can't really say for 22.12, but of course I'm not editing with 22.12, I'm editing with 22.08.3, because, you know, that's what this project has been made on, so I just have to kind of deal with it.
After finding the cable wasn't fit for purpose, I should
wasn't fit for purpose. Wasn't fit for purpose. Say that, yeah, like that.
After finding the cable wasn't fit for purpose, I should
so let's say like, wow, why would you do that to me? There you go. So then we just do this.
After finding the cable wasn't fit for purpose, I should this Fiji.
Let's say I switched.
I should this.
Which didn't do me. Okay, it didn't do me any good, but it's what I did.
Purpose. I should this VGA discard adapter I found online, then convert that to HDMI. But no matter what,
So far, that's similar.
after finding the cable wasn't fit for purpose, I switched to this VGA to SCART adapter I found online, then convert that to HDMI. But no matter what I did, I got a funny.
Yeah, it's also like powering it from USB instead of powering it from VGA to see if that would do it, but that just didn't do it. So I just think it's something weird the Acorn chip is doing. So let's see what that looks like.
The VGA to. However, there was one problem no amount of troubleshooting or brute forcing would fix, and that is video output. The VGA to HDMI adapter I bought turns out to have a hard floor of 480p, and if the video outputs anything lower than that, then you just flat out a lock. You might be seeing the problem I am implying already, but some games in my library, like Pac-Mania for instance, outputs at
Goodness knows
almost
how I'm going to do a
half
thumbnail
that
for this
minimum
live stream.
resolution for this cable. Most games I own is at a funny 256p, so that sucks. After finding the cable wasn't fit for purpose, I switched to this VGA to SCART adapter I found online, then convert that to HDMI. But no matter what I did, I got a
where is it? Where is it? Where is it? There it is. So that goes here. Put that there. And 289. Loop. I keep forgetting about the numpad thing. As I keep saying, because I do keep forgetting it. You
but
think
no matter what I
I've
did,
learned by now,
I
but
got a
no.
funny image that is considerably darker than it should be. This makes me think the video chip HDMI. But no matter what I did, this makes me should be. This makes me think the video chip inside the Acorn.
There we go. So let's back that up. If I don't switch over to the wrong thing, that would be good. Base edit 7. 288. Okay, then 15 just for that little bit right here. There you go.
Makes me think the video chip inside the Acorn when I put something funny that the box simply doesn't like. But it did output all the resolutions I threw at it. And Pac-Mania loaded up as it should.
Because that is also like 256p.
So it honestly sucks that I couldn't fix the problem as it.
It's kind of interesting how, like, the first half of the video,
I could see that the A7000
like, I just used
fully adapted
footage.
was fine, much to my own surprise. So with that, I left the specific parameters to the drive untouched. When it asked me to initialize, I pressed I and made sure that the drive was set to bootable.
So yeah, like, see, nothing there, but it's like,
It was
second
great,
half.
like Pac-Mania, for instance.
like,
output
it's like almost like I'm doing the history of the stupid,
at almost half that
of the system,
cable.
which
Most
obviously,
games I
naturally,
own is at a
requires a lot of, you know, text or thing on the
inside
background.
Acorn. When I put something funny,
Just, why would you do that to me?
to a display and test it worked.
Why would
The
you
only
do that?
VGA monitor I had readily available was my
So yeah, this makes me think
the video chip inside the Acorn.
that which the video chip is also known as the VidC chip, VidC20, I think it is in the RISC PC based architecture. So obviously the same with the A7000 because that's based on the RISC PC's architecture. This makes me think, not thing. Make me doing a certified big brain moment.
It makes me think
Think the video chip side of the Acorn.
the video chip inside the Acorn. When I put
Output something funny. The video chip inside that Acorn output something funny, and not the ha-ha kind. What's Click doing? Struggling with the RP app again, I think he is. For his GTA roleplay. You're doing that again. I'm not entirely sure why. You've probably been doing it throughout the entire stream, haven't you? For no apparent reason. So,
Put something funny that the box simply doesn't like.
Output that the box simply doesn't like. The box simply outputs something funny that the box simply doesn't like. Why would you do that to me? Why? Why would you do that to me?
Outside the Acorn, and I put something funny that the box simply doesn't like, but it did output all the resolutions I threw
Yeah.
at it. And Pac-Mania loaded up as it should. So it honestly
sucks.
sucks. I couldn't fix the problem as it would.
But I couldn't fix the problem.
As it would have been a great cheap solution otherwise. Of course, this is glossing over the distinct lack of USB on this machine.
Yeah. It's like, you know, also addressing the other elephant in the room. One that I was having trouble surmounting over.
So it honestly
Just I'm doing that thing where I need to sneeze, but it's not letting me sneeze. Ah!
So it honestly sucks. Like
Right, so it does it. Head sucks. Okay, that's all I want to know. Honestly sucks that I couldn't fix the problem.
I couldn't fix the problem as it
I couldn't fix the problem as it would have been a good. That I couldn't fix the problem. As it would have been a good cheap solution otherwise.
as it would have been a great cheap solution otherwise.
Yep, so that there. Would have been a good cheap solution otherwise. As it would have been a great cheap solution otherwise.
It honestly sucks. I couldn't fix the problem as it would have been a great cheap solution otherwise. Of course, this
Yep, and then tend to just the other elephant in the room.
linking it up to a modern KVM switch would have been problematic to say the least.
What do you mean anacrusis? What's anacrusis again? Oh, is that one? Cycleball is already on sale again, despite literally being on sale during the Steam Winter Sale, the Christmas sale. Was I didn't buy that one, but I bought varying other things. What's going on here? Okay, so that's what's going on. I'm not entirely sure if I can buy with that, but I hate when I have to see notifications like that. It just irritates me. So back to here.
Cheap solution otherwise. Of course, this is glossing over the distinct lack of USB on these machines.
Yeah. So
Of course,
of course, color. personally, I think of course it's about like something like that, but I don't think it is. Prefer variant. It doesn't feel like it should be. It just feels wrong. Is that being two words? But you know, like every time I screaming at me saying that is wrong. But hey ho.
This is glossing over the distinct lack of USB on these machines. So
Yep. This is. It's just. Of course, this is glossing over the distinct lack of USB on these machines.
USB on these machines.
Hmm? So I'll say here is on these machines. So duplicate clip.
USB on these machines.
So I think lack of USB on these machines. I don't know, that feels what it should be. So hooking it up to a modern KVM switch, which KVM stands for literally keyboard, video, and monitor. No, mouse. Keyboard, video, and mouse. Literally what KVM stands for. I cannot believe it. Like I cannot believe this. Like this is exactly 5 seconds from here to here. How could this happen?
Which does have USB 1.1 on its Simtech motherboard.
Which is a technicality.
But the Micro never received drivers for USB, so they're a diadem purely for show.
I can't believe this is exactly 5 seconds. Like it fits in perfectly without me trimming it down. How could this happen?
So hooking it up to a modern KVM switch would have been hooking it up to a modern KVM. Hooking it up to a modern.
Oh yeah, it's
Hooking it up to a modern KVM.
it's kind of scary how well that kind of slot in together.
Lack of USB on these machines. So hooking it up to a modern.
So hooking up to a modern KVM switch would have been problematic to say the least.
Hooking it up to a modern KVM switch would have been
problematic to say the least.
Would have been problematic.
So yeah, would have
To
say the least. Would have been problematic to say the least. Would have been problematic to say the least. Oh way.
KVM switch would have been problematic to say the least. I do have a similar
spec clone. What is this? Oh, I know this one well. My idea, I just maybe someone go first.
I do have a similar spec clone.
I do have a similarly spec'd clone.
do have a similar spec clone. I do have a
similar. It hasn't crashed. Oh wait, it's been very good in that regard. The stream, no, it would crash by now. Me doing stuff like that.
Problematic to say the least. I do have a similar spec clone, a micro digital Myco, which does. I do have a similar spec clone, a micro digital Myco, which does have USB 1.
Yeah, which it does have USB 1.1 on its Simtech motherboard, which again is a very much technicality. It was the same problem with the micro digital Omega, which is even somehow just as well as the Myco. You know, they've made plenty of Mycos. There were like maybe 100 micro digitals that, you know, Omegas that actually got to paying customers. And since it's half finished, Micro Digital went under before they even finished the hardware. No, finished the drivers. For it was like the entire thing was an FPGA, so it's not like, in that regard it was bad. I could have added it later on, but the fact that the company went down under before they had the chance for things like USB, as well as it planned to have a Pentium 3 PC card to run Windows on, which was very ambitious of them. And I had like a prototype card, but you know, it was very ambitious. The fact that I never saw it fruition because they went down on is somewhat sad. All I know is of its existence because it was shown in a Acorn User magazine. So, which I believe it was USB 1.1 as well, because it was technically unveiled for, what was it, 1999? It came out in 2000, 2001, definitely before the INX was even announced, but it wasn't. It was delayed into 2003. At that point, it was competing against the INX PC. Brochures. That would be under ebooks. MISC, Equal News magazines, Equal Newser. What's the first mention I have of it? The new A7000 Plus, which is what we're doing right now. Ultimate Graphics Machine, 1997, 98, 200 not out. The Phoebe, that was before it got cancelled. I mean, there it is. What if I just copy that? Because basically copying the path to do this. Doesn't crash. Cheated the system. So let's have a look at that. Wait for it to load up. Because with the default load thing in GNOME, I cannot search it. So build your own micro digital Myco, which is literally this thing right here. So they were selling this for £500 as a baseline spec machine. 23. Dang it. Last up to first. Castle and workstation. When people talk about manufacturing vehicles, they say castle workstation, millipede eventually, which they didn't, because the motherboard I wanted to use never came out. But millipede, it's referring to, or was it the millipede as? Oh no, millipede is the one that made the motherboard. What I'm thinking of is the Cerebral Nucleus. That's this machine. This is what I was thinking of. Which has a very, personally, I think it's a very attractive case. This is like when Whisker was 4. But Millipede is the one that was making the motherboard. That was meant to be a slotting replacement for strong. So basically a non-bottleneck strong arm system. Again, using FPGA. Had USB as well, so I would have solved a lot of problems there. as a slot-in replacement. Technically, I imagine it would have been the same. You probably could put this into an A7000 case, because I believe the dimensions of both motherboards are identical. You could put a Whisk PC motherboard into a into an A7000 slash A7000 plus motherboard, and vice versa. But yeah, Millipede, which is what I'm talking about. I was like, oh, they didn't make the motherboard they wanted to never came out. No, they were the one making the motherboard. Nucleus was the computer I was thinking of, but the motherboard I wanted to use never came out. They made a few prototypes, which is evidenced here, but it never came out. Which is saying it's actually kind of an attractive machine, and it's one of those things where, like the Omega, it just never really came out, and it's really quite sad because of it, because it would have been awesome otherwise. But see, like this is like the look of the micro digital, which if you actually have a look, I think I even mentioned in what was it, non-live gaming live streams on my secondary channel. Yeah, it's sort of making a clone of to be eventually 3D printed to use like a Pi 4 thing, because I quite like this case. Yeah. Yep, because the motherboard never came. They never got the motherboard. But yeah, it was announced for this. And when was it? Did it say when it was going to come out? Was Power Machine with its basic strong MSA, and because of X scale, it was meant to be able to easily upgrade to X scale processors, which is what the Ironix used by default. But it doesn't. Something that we promised or more. It forms a bridge between which goes as well as economy scale lots. Yeah, I mean it's something I would have bought, just in that case, because we found it quite attractive. It was nice, expandable. Whether they have sound and PowerPoint export. I like the fact it's like, oh yeah, that's one of 1 point. Only 60 pounds. It's like now what, 40 pounds? It's actually somewhat cheaper, but I do want to try that at some point. You can still buy it if you know where to look, which I do. Could do something like that, but you know. Anyway, I'm getting distracted. When did it? When was? Oh, is this one of the ones I just did? I couldn't control P, so you can't actually search. Because I think that's what I did, because it doesn't say when it's coming out. 2 man years of hard work. So it came, started working in 1998. Was that Browse? Yeah, it's Browse. Okay. DrawWorks Millennium. Artful Artworks. Maybe this one. 230, 2001. Which, for a fact, it was still not out by then. I want to make perfectly clear. The Kinetic, which is meant to... Yes, this is one of those things. There's a price for it. Taking orders now for the new Viscose desktop. And it was not out. Basically, I think it was around this time they wanted it to be out, 2001. Like, there it is. And you can see it had a bit of an upgrade since then, because there's the, had the actual standard MIDI case actually has, you have USB, just like basic, well, front USB, not just back USB. Now, like, again, not really matter because the chipset they were using for USB was Simtech. I just never gave them the drivers. If you know their website is anything to believe, but yeah, it just never came out. believe it says still pre-orders, if I look at the last one I saved. Which actually, I have a physical copy of this one there, but I've also got it digitally. So. Or is this no longer there? Oh, Mega Digital is no longer there now. That's Windows 2000. Don't know why I pressed Control P. I should have just saved, because then it would have saved the text, searchable text as well. Because this is actually proper text that you're supposed to search. It just didn't do that. There's the new Exio processor. There's the Omega. Micro, yeah, cool. 779. See, this is like a point of sale system you could use with Squads file, and I remember wanting it. I was like, oh, that's cool, I really want that just to play around with. Even though that's not what it was designed for. It's not meant for a kid to play around with, because this is when I first saw it. Because it's taking my dad's copy I've got. But yeah, I think it's still pre-orders. We have to look to see if other ones around. Viewfinder Pro, Rage Pro cards. Oh, for it was the Radeon ones, because you could get Radeon ones at one point. UE tax proposal. Makes fastest chip ever. Let's go select. Yep, HTML Studio, which you can still get. Quake. Yep. There's an ADSL user. Real world viscous graphics. Everything electric point of sale. Start media FS and viscous for Whisker PC. Wow, you could have made it a little bit more fitting with the graphics, but hey, oh, there we go. Ovation Pro, which you can actually get free now. Acorn is now producing an Ovation Pro. That's one of OS. For a chance to win a copy. Entry should be by 14th of April. It's up into the future. The future is now, old man. It's finished in April, except you never did. Talking to the Pine Book, which came very recently for it to come out. Before that was even you could get a laptop port that wasn't the Acorn A4 from 1992, I think it was. Yep, KVM switch. Honestly, I'm not finding what I seek. It's somewhat. Don't even think it out there, man. Simple sites. Looking. I am looking. Wireless. Tiro. Absolutely not. I can still get the information I see. Problem solved at kinetic speed. Yeah, this was before the INX came out. Yeah, I made it a bit. Yeah, is it worth the wait? I think it's only recently started coming out. I am good. Actually, I have a clear way which was for a give on it. I'm just saying that I will never be the owner of a microcontroller maker. I have in front of me the current microcontroller website news site. It's dated 3rd November. States more information next week. Some really good news for Christmas. I'm waiting in late February. Indeed, you don't agree with us. Indeed, you can buy a card to upgrade with PC users who do not have a SRAM or want which was for it will make so if you have obviously you should not buy a binary connection, just buy the upgrade card. I like how it's like doesn't even ask about the Omega. Yeah, so basically, yeah, I don't think it was out yet. It's out yet, and that's why it's like people you should probably get the kinetic. Because, you know, new machines was either, you know, the ARM7500 based machines like the Micro. Can't believe I wasted so much time on. But yeah, the thing I came out still. Well, it was like what 10 minutes just to find what I wanted.
Which does have USB 1.1 on its Syntec motherboard.
But I never received drivers.
But the Micro never received driver. But the show must go on.
Yep, so here we go. So let's get like back to where we were because we actually got distracted.
Must go on.
Yep, so must go on. But the show must go on. There we go. There we go.
But the show must go on. I got my faithful LG.
Yeah, we got my faithful LG 1943 SS, which is basically on its way out because the fucking fluorescent backlight is dying right before my very eyes. It's not as bright as it used to be.
I got my faithful LG W 1943 SS out of my cupboard.
Out of my cupboard. Yep. Okay. I got my faithful LG W 1943 SS out of my cupboard.
And hooked it up downstairs.
I hooked it up downstairs.
And hooked it up downstairs.
Yep. Hooked it up downstairs. Don't like that spacing terribly. So we're just gonna have to do that.
Cupboard and put it upstairs.
So let's see how this old girl performance, I believe is what I said.
So let's see how this old girl performs.
Indeed it is. Let's just put that there. So let's see how this old girl performs. Exclamation mark. Okay, so I need to edit the music. I actually need to pause this so I can hear what I'm doing. Saved it. Just get rid of that. There we go.
But the show must go on. I got my faithful LG W 19.
Oh, that's not what I wanted. If I had that, yep, near you, we're gonna do that. So it's here, so where was I? So get rid of that, and then why would you do that to me?
problematic to say the least. I do have a similar spec clone, the Micro Digital Micro, which does have USB 1.1 on its SimTech motherboard, but the Micro
full power.
I do have a similar spec clone, the Micro Digital Micro, which does have USB 1.1 on its SimTech motherboard. Digital Micro, which does have USB 1.1 on its SimTech motherboard, but the Micro never received USB 1.1.
So get rid of that. How does that sound?
Similar spec clone, the Micro Digital Micro, which does have USB 1.1 on its SimTech motherboard, but the Micro never received drivers for USB, so they're a done purely for show. But the show must go. Hooked it up downstairs, so let's see how this old girl performs. Downstairs, so let's see how this old girl performs. Motherboard, but the Micro never received drivers.
Let's go here. This way.
Have USB 1.1 on its SimTech motherboard, which does release. I do have a similar spec clone, the Micro Digital Micro, which does have USB 1.1 on its SimTech motherboard, but the Micro never received drivers for USB, so they're a done purely for show. But the show how this old girl performs.
Sophie. That is somewhat regrettable. Alright, can I get on the ground there? I'm on the ground. I was about to, but hey, bit unregrettable timing this, because I was about to wage you in now, because I was just wrapping up. I was going to just back up my save and then see what we've done. Then I was going to raid you. So that is indeed most regrettable timing. But you can get. But I was sort of thinking, what were you editing? Well, I'm going to show you in a nano, but I was editing the software sequence because I can do in KDENLive nested sequences. So I basically have done each part of the video in separate sequences that I've just joined together because I can just drag that sequence into a main sequence sort of thing, which is how I did like the color magic video along with other things. That's not even the right. That's not the right thing. But I'm editing a retro upgrade video. Like I'm doing like another LGR style video on the Acorn A7000 Plus. Sort of thing. A7000. Oh, that's still not the right sequence. I copied the same sequence again. I should just looked at the title. I mean, you could have done. You could have done, Steph. But where's the fun in that? And the reason the music's paused because I'm actually poking play while I'm copying the right thing. Gives you awkward silence. True. I'm glad you get to see things my way. We're not seeing things at all. It's this one I'm after. There we go. Base edit 8. Is it 8 or 7? Survey says definitely 8. Definitely 8. So there's like all the sequencer things, so nested sequences, which is in my source. I don't currently have a main sequencing yet, but I'll help you later. There's literally all of this is relating to it. Some of them I'm not using, but most of it is relating to the stuff. Everything from the history of it, which is actually, if we go to my Mastodon, oh, that's cool. That's the Ubuntu logo. If you don't know, someone just did Ubuntu. That's funny. But if we had to go to my media and scroll down, you can see this is a preview of me doing the history sequence. which has like specs and stuff. The nerdy things. So, you know, that's like, so I've been working on this for a while, you can tell from the date here. But anyway, let's, you know, pause this. It's going to be about as loud as I'm currently am, but let's have a look at the entire sequence now. So, don't think I can, how do I get, with the, hold on. How do I make this, how do I make you big? That's not it. Not entirely what I had in mind, but sure, I can just drag you over. Okay, are we all comfortable, children? I have no idea what the performance is going to be. Are we all comfortable? I hope so, because we're going to do it now. With the upgrades in place, it was time to connect the A7000 Plus to a display and test it work. The only VGA monitor I had readily available was my old TV set, which I had not sold at the time of this video. Which I have sold since then. I love the short burst the floppy drive does as its self-test compared to the long one PCs of the era did. Unfortunately, I quickly discovered that the Acorn outputs as it boots up for some reason is invalid to a TV. So I broke out a VGA to HDMI adapter I was going to present later in the video and hooked it up to the computer. And with a quick reset I could see that it was outputting. Typing in the desktop command in the supervisor fired up the OS in ROM. And it's pretty usable as is, bar a few sacrifices. Oh, that sound, man. The satisfaction I get from hearing that sound after so long was just pure nostalgia back to my childhood. I miss that sound so much. Once in H form, I could see that the A7000 Plus saw the adapter just fine, much to my own surprise. So with that, I left the specific parameters to the drive untouched. But when it asked me to initialize, I pressed I and made sure that the drive was set to bootable. And in a matter of 2 seconds, it was ready to use. I clicked on the drive icon on the icon bar and it loaded straight away, and restarting it immediately made the default name show up. So I changed the name to Solid Disk 4 as it is technically a flash-based drive, and moved on to Dad's ARM6 to copy a working boot file and data I want to have on the drive. Moving back to the A7000 Plus and nothing. After troubleshooting for a couple of days, I had found out that the problem was human error and I misread one of the prompts in H form. When I pressed I was supposed to press F for format. Doing this formatted the drive to the correct filing system and initialized the drive. From there I copied the boot file along with some other goodies, and the A7000 Plus saw it immediately. Hey! Now we're cooking with gas! Away! So now we have a perfectly functional WhiskOS 3.71 computer. Setting up the SD card was supposed to be the easy part compared to the final modification I wanted to do. As I alluded to earlier, there is no set OS limit on these machines providing you replace the ROM chips, meaning you F for F in chat. Was it really that loud? Or is it the fact it's just too technical? Even though I tried to simplify some or explain something. There is no set OS limit on these machines. Like this part. As I alluded to earlier, there is no set OS limit on these machines providing you replace the ROM chips, meaning you could easily get the latest and greatest for this computer. Soft loading, however, is a slightly different story. Now, soft loading is basically meaning installing a new operating system through software, including loading the required ROM into the RAM first. And there is 2 roads you can go with this. On the WhiskOS Limited side, you can only officially go to WhiskOS 4.02 from hello? I don't know what's happened there. Something just happened. Something happened. I don't know why. I just was like, oh, I get what you mean. It took me slow, but I remember when you were talking about the formatting thing, I was just being a slow idiot. And then while I was doing that, the internet died. Briefly. I'm not entirely sure what happened. I generally don't know what happened, but it's like internet died very briefly, but only on OBS. Twitch chat seemed to be fine. I'm not entirely sure what happened. I generally don't know what happened. But no, okay, I'm sorry, I get what you mean. You were talking about the formatting thing. Sorry, I was slow. I'm being an idiot. I am an idiot. Sorry about that, Gabe. I was an idiot. Being about as slow as the ARM processor in this stupid Acorn. So sorry, that's my bad. Sorry, Gabe, I'm an idiot. This is a certified smooth brain moment. I'm first. And there is 2 roads you can go with this. On the WhiskOS Limited side, you can only officially go to WhiskOS 4.02 from 3.60 or 3.7x, with any higher version requiring 4 and 1. On WhiskOS Open Limited, however, the sky's the limit, and you can easily grab the latest build of WhiskOS 5 to softload on the A7000 or Whisk PC computer. Unofficially, however, there is no set limit, and a user named Sarbard over on the Stardart forums created a way to softload any version onto these machines, within reason of course. For me that is 4.39, as that was on my Whisk PC as a kid, and it offers the best new features to backwards compatibility ratio. With the readme being more than vague, trying to figure out what to do, especially for someone who never softloaded an OS onto an Acorn before, was more than a trial and error game. Technically, this neat utility is supposed to work with 2 drives, but it can be modified to work with only 1. Getting this to work on boot proved to be really difficult, as it is clear this is very much a patchwork solution. The problem was once again human error, with the required string to get the softload to work being commented out by default. On commenting the string and restarting the Acorn finally got 4.39 to fire up automatically as if it was running in 1. It's not as fast due to the extra steps needed on boot up, but it works and I didn't need to swap out the ROMs, making it easily revertible. So that's a win. You'd think it would be smooth sailing from here. Just needed some housekeeping and some personalization things and I'm up to the races laughing. However, there was one problem no amount of troubleshooting or brute forcing would fix, and that is video output. The VGA to HDMI adapter I bought turns out to have a hard floor of 480p, and if the video output's anything lower than that, then you're just flat out of luck. You might be seeing the problem I am implying already, but some games in my library, like Pac-Mania for instance, outputs at almost half that minimum resolution for this cable. Most games I own is at a funny 256p, so that sucks. After finding the cable wasn't fit for purpose, I switched to this VGA to SCART adapter I found online, then convert that to HDMI. But no matter what I did, I got a funny image that is considerably darker than it should be. This makes me think the video chip inside the Acorn outputs something funny that the box simply doesn't like. But it did output all the resolutions I threw at it, and Pac-Mania loaded up as it should. So it honestly sucks that I couldn't fix the problem, as it would have been a great cheap solution otherwise. Of course, this is glossing over the distinct lack of USB on these machines, so hooking it up to a modern KVM switch would have been problematic to say the least. I do have a similar spec clone, the Micro Digital Micro, which does have USB 1.1 on its Simtech motherboard, but the Micro never received drivers for USB, so they're a dud and purely for show. But the show must go on. I got my faithful LG W1943 SS out of my cupboard and hooked it up downstairs. So let's see how this old girl performs. And that's it. Ta-da! That's all she wrote for this sequence. So please let me know what you think. Give me your honest opinion. I know you won't understand literally half the things I said in the video, because very technical, nerdy stuff. But please let me know what you think. Regardless, I am very keen to know. Yeah, that's about right. Honestly, nothing. Yeah, that sounds about right. Anything other than that would be deviating from the norm. Such is life. But yeah, glad you liked it, Gabe. Something I'm forgetting. What was I doing? I mean, I know I'm streaming, but what was I gonna do? Brain fart. But yeah, that's basically the video. We've basically just done, I say, about 3 minutes worth of stuff. Also, before I forget, this is very important because this is only the base edit, and I'll do the main, after, refine it other. But so, category 8 as a high priority thing, remember to color grade footage, so I don't forget. I've done the exact same thing with the upgrade thing, the hardware upgrade, which is not that long. 5 minutes 41 in total, because some of that will fade out. Okay. Why did you? I'm not sure why you did that, but sure. Sequences. History. Upgrade. Base. Edit. Final. But yeah, I think that's a good place to leave it there. I'll do. My brain's having fun. How do I end it? How do I end stream? How do I do the thing? I don't. This is such a unique thing because I haven't done a video editing stream since 2018. I would like to say. Let's see. It was ever in HitFilm. Let's put it that. It was when I was using HitFilm Express. Back on the editing grind. I believe that was my Fallout 76 video that was very badly edited, but let's ignore that fact. 4 years ago, yeah, November 2018 was the last time I've done a video editing live stream, so it's been a hot minute since I've done another video editing stream. So, and a lot has happened in those 4 years. Whether they're for better or for worse, I'll leave it up to you. I don't know how I'm going to create a thumbnail for this stream, because the last time I did that stream was before I did thumbnails for every one of my live streams, and I don't know how I'm going to do this one. It's a riddle I have not yet figured out. But, you know, that's future me's problem. For now, we're going to leave the live stream there. So, thank you so much for watching this. I hope you enjoyed it. We got a lot of work done. We got done the rest of the base, well, base area is what I call it, for the upgrade thing. And it's just like games. We're gonna be a gamer in the next sequence, which I'll be doing at some point. This video also will be coming out at some point because I have got to edit the Hurion unboxing video, which is this graphics tablet. Like, if we just minimize that, the graphics tablet that is, you know, actually could move it over here because of how things are. That is white here. This is my new shiny graphics tablet. I'm a lot brighter. The mighty sun. So yeah, that's my new graphics tablet. I will be. Which I will be using next week, but well, streaming next week. But anyway, I got a lot of stuff done. I don't know when the actual video is out, but it will come out eventually, and I'm very looking forward to that. That's gonna be fun. I got some other projects as well in the works for side projects, which means I won't be able to do what I do animating during that portion, because I got like the NAS project I want to do at some point, which also need to be recorded, and Raspberry Pi 2 project because just Acorn 1 didn't work out. Anyway, I'm getting ahead of myself, so thank you so much for watching this live stream. I hope you enjoyed it. Tonight we'll be raiding I believe Cyberlord, unless Sondervan is online. Is Sondervan online? No, it's still saying Sophie's online. Which is obviously not true. Sophie's currently not streaming art. So that's false. But we'll be so let's refresh that. Oh, so it's just Cyber is online. So we'll be waiting Cyber again with Vampire Survivors. And you find me again on Wednesday 8 PM BST with a game. I also want to plug next Friday's stream, because next week we'll be doing another art stream. Not doing video editing, but we'll be doing sculpting practice, because one of the things I'm doing is improve my sculpting thing for characters. So next Friday at 8 PM BST, I'll be on Blender using my new graphics tablet and doing art, basically actual real art, or at least try to. So I want to plug that very quickly. So look forward to that. I hope I see people there, because I'm looking forward to that. We're going to be 2 weeks of art, so video editing this week. Next week will be sculpting, so that's going to be fun. Anyway, I'm rambling. Thank you so much for watching this live stream. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in my next video. Peace.